So this is the user interface for the database application which I have built for migration, transformation and validation of data. I believe this can be served for different verticals in the IT industry. So once we log into the application, we are currently logged in as Red Hat. You can see different dashboards are over here. Each dashboard has their own specific indication of what is happening in the database. Okay, some are application specific and the others are user specific. We have tabs as well as an administration module over here that is for admin purpose. So in the home page itself, we have written that now transformation, migration and validation of the data. Now explaining each feature one by one. The first one is a search feature. Okay, you provide a keyword over here. Okay, what it will do is that a kind of a mini Google search. Okay, you just provide a keyword and the procedure will be searching for that particular keyword in the database itself. Okay, if it found anyone, it will throw back the result. Like I'm performing a search with the keyword called state. So what it throws back is that the list of all those well names which has state as an string. Okay, so I got 12 well details over here. Likewise, if I provide primary key, okay, if I provide a primary, what happens here is that there will be an auto list that will be generated. Okay, so you can see the list of all those well identifiers, which starts with 300 and just click on it. Okay, you'll find that detail. So any end user can perform a quick edit on the data that he finds over here and correct it from within seconds itself. So this is like a search predict thing. Okay, just search on and edit the data. Next we move on to the dashboards. Okay, the first one is the profiling statistics, which is again an application specific thing. Now this application runs on a set of business rules. Okay, so business rules can be for any domain. Right now this entire application has been pitched in the oil and gas domain, so you can see all those rules which has to be there in an oil and gas say a database. Okay, so these rules have to be passed for any data to protect the data integrity inside the database. Okay, so any failures which occur after doing the profiling here, that will go into the exception report where the user will get an option to edit the data and correct it. Okay, so again going back to the home page, what we are getting here is that a kind of pie charts have been generated over here. So you see, once we do the profiling, it lists us the top 5 tables which contains the maximum amount of failure data. So you can see the yellow one being the table which contains the maximum number of failure data which has failed profiling stage. So you need to correct the data there itself. Click on the table, it will go to the table section. And moving on to the other dashboards, the migration info. Okay, once we are transforming the data, when the data has been corrected, we have an option to migrate the data into a target database. Okay, so this says the blue ones are the pending ones, and a user specific dashboard called Welds by geography. Okay, certain users would like to identify their entities through say a location wise. Okay, and this is the dashboard for again application specific, where you can see the list of all those rules which has been deleted in the last 7 days, added in last 7 days with tags. So this is completely application specific. Any changes that is done by any user will be updated over here. Moving on, one more striking feature of this application is that in your entity, okay, if any column has been changed by any end user, okay, so that thing is constantly being tracked off. Okay, you can see around 5 updates are here. Okay, in the first one, KB elevation has been changed from 6.6 to 2. So the user who did this on what date. Okay, so entire information related to data changes has been maintained in this application as well. So moving into the migration info part, that is a tab over here. So once the profiling has been done, validation has been passed, what we like to do here is that we identify those tables which are eligible for migration. Okay, so you see, for the current explanation purpose, we have identified two tables over here. So once we click on this table, the yellow box, you see an entity information as well as four other links which has been displayed over. That is the data, the updates, the links, and the attachments. Okay, so you can get a sample data over here. So if you would like to download the data, just click on it and save it. Okay, so the other thing like updates, as I told you earlier, in the home page we had, so the other option is to like add a link or an attachment. Right now we are adding a link over here, and the data which we are entering is just for explanation purpose. Like suppose any end user who wants to perform some validation of data before migration, and he is say is not aware of some certain terms which has been described in the information. So any admin level user can attach a kind of a document or a website link where he can tell the end user to just refer to these links or to this attachment to clear your doubts, rather than providing like constant communication between client and your leads, whatever it is. You just provide the valuable data inside this which is necessary for the review purpose. So just add the whatever link or attachment here itself, and it will be stored in the application itself. So next time when the end user logs in here, so he just reviews the data using these links and the updates and the attachment that was being given over here. So any unnecessary communication has been avoided through this specific feature. Okay, it's just like you have the data and you want the metadata, and the Bible is stored in this application in the form of PDF documents or links. Okay, so this is how we add an attachment over here. So just click on export the file. Okay, again say this is a valuable information or a referential information for the entity that we have selected to migrate. So add it here itself. Now since this application has been installed on Red Hat server, that's why we are using the Red Hat logo over there. So there is no connection with Red Hat thing. Okay, it's just that we installed this application on the server and we do not have a logo for ourselves. So that's all. So there we go, we add an attachment and the attachment has been uploaded. So it will be listed in the attachment section of this entity. Okay, so now moving on, once the validation and review has been done, we click on migrate tab here, and you see four tables are there. Okay, just add it to the list and give a submit over there, and what next you will see is that the migration will be done. Okay, in the database. Now if you want to upload the data for migration, so we have a data load feature over here. Okay, so you can import the data in two forms, either copy and paste or provide a CSV file. Okay, so this is a information step that you can see over here. All the four steps related to data loading has been explained over here. So just for the purpose, click on the sample data and let's see. So here we have a kind of same sample data we are using, and you can see three boxes above over there. One is a separator, optionally enclosed by. First row has column names. Okay, this is very self-explanatory itself, and when we click on next, you can see the mapping has been done automatically. Okay, in the source table. So you can see every column has been mapped accordingly to how it is stored, I mean the structure in the database. Okay, so if there is any correction that you want to do, you can click the drop down box and make the changes accordingly. So once you click on next, So it will tell you what all actions it is going to perform. So since the entire data set is new, so it is going to perform an insert operation. Okay, so finally when you click the load data, all these three records will be inserted into the tables. As I said, one more option is there for getting data through a CSV file. Okay, in a similar fashion you can enter the separator, the optionally enclosed by feature. So once you do it, again the same process, automatic mapping the data, and if you have any correction, just click on the drop down box, provide the next, and it will give you the review what it's going to do, the entire perform action that is going to perform. Okay, so you can see the data here as well. So once you click on load data, which we are not doing it right now to maintain our data consistency. Okay, okay. So the next thing we move on to is the Weld Data tab. Okay, so here you can see, suppose we are having a lot of data over here. Okay, and we want to perform some reporting features like highlighting, computing, aggregating, grouping. Okay, now all these features can be done on Microsoft Excel or OpenOffice like that. So we have incorporated those features into this tool. Okay, suppose we want to highlight some values in these records. Okay, now I know it will be very difficult if we have to search on and then find one by one. So what we can do is here we can provide some clause over here, say that, okay, so let's say we modify the clause over here and remove it. Say we want to highlight some a value. Okay, earlier I think I entered a wrong value, that's why I didn't highlight. Okay, so given the plug back thing, and we're performing the operation on the plug back column. Okay, so click on it and say we want the, okay, on KB elevation, okay, we want all those values which is less than 29. So you can see a list of values ranging from 23 to 25 has been displayed over here because we wanted to highlight it. And you see the next thing we are going to do is like make a chart. Okay, and perform a chart operation on the entire data set. For demo purpose, we'll take a maximum function over there and click on it. You get a chart. Okay, so the entire information will be displayed on a chart over here, and can reset it. One more feature that we are having here is that I mean, these are the options for downloading. Okay, there are 4 options. Either you get a CSV file, or you get an HTML file in the Internet Explorer, or you provide an email, or you get an PDF. Now, if you have to send an email itself, you can send it from the application itself. No need to use Lotus Notes or Outlook for this. Okay, you review the data yourself, validate it, and just click on the send button. So the mail will be sent from the application itself through the application mailer engine. Okay, likewise if you want to display selected columns for the review purpose, and you can do that also. Okay, so there you go. This is a filtered result. And finally an option to add some more data into the existing data set. Okay, now moving on to the main the core part of the application, Okay, like I said, we are having a business rules over here, and these business rules are necessary for the validation and profiling purpose. Okay, so we have categorized the entire entities from the domain perspective. Okay, so let's say we are having some XYZ amount of data over here. Okay, so we have here 31 rules turned on and 8 rules which have been turned off. Okay, and we want to do a profiling on this entire data set. Okay, so if you want to create a rule on the fly itself, you just provide the necessary information, and that rule will be stored in the backend. Okay, so next time when you do profiling, this rule will also be turned on against whichever table that you wish to do profiling on. Okay, so this is just for demo purpose that we are doing here. Okay, so you can see a calendar over here. The end user, whenever he wants to do a profiling on whichever date, okay, he just can. Now one more feature that we are having here is the field evaluation thing. Okay, like any column we want to inspect, we can inspect that column from this application itself, like how many null values have been stored or how many distinct values are stored in that particular column in that database. So that gives you some amount the purity of the data that's been in there, that database. So we do profiling thing. Let's click on submit here, and you see that profiling part has been launched. Now you can turn over to the report section to review the data. Okay, so how many data has passed the profiling part and how many has failed the profiling thing. And this is an added feature, like in oil and gas industries, people, the end user would like to locate their entire data set through the use of maps. Okay, so you type any information over here, you get that particular well into that location with all those attributes like surface longitude, latitude, and everything that is related to complete maps thing. So here we are using the features from ESRI, a map server, using the ArcGIS module. Okay, as I said, the reports over here, so you can see I have inspected all these columns in these tables. Okay, and I find like how many percentage of null in that entire column, the distinct values in that. Again, an option to download. Okay, so this particular field inspection part gives you the percentage of how much the data integrity is there in the entire database. Okay, now this is a part where when we do profiling, okay, we find how many failures are there. I mean, which rule has failed the most. Okay, so you can see for this particular run ID, okay, this particular run, so these many failures are there. Okay, the color coding indicates the rule number. Okay, the green one say the 84. Okay, 22 failures are there against these rules, like that means 22 records have been failed for this rule. Okay, which says a well must have a longitude value, and these 22 record does not have any value at all, it has failed. So we need to correct the data from here itself. So as this profiling is a progressive thing, okay, the sequentially wise when you run it, so theoretically the failure count should decrease. So the last 5 reports shows you that only. And here you can see a calendar over here which displays any changes in the database done on a particular date. Okay, So it's in a calendar format. You also have a report format also for that. Okay, like I said, the report format, this is the one. So when you see tags over here, so there's a important thing which has been attached to this application is the concept of tags. Just like how we used to tag people through in Facebook, okay, how we tag a particular person. Likewise, we can tag a particular. Now moving on to the administration module, you can see this entire module is meant for admin level rights. Okay, if you want to do any modification over here, you can do that here itself. Like suppose you want to blacklist some data from end users, you can do that. You need to manage some data, you need to revoke or grant some user rights to any end user, that also you can do. Okay, go to administration again, and you can see a list of access control is there. Okay, configuration part or notifications. So this notification purpose is used like any if an admin wants to communicate to end user about any changes in the application or to prevent some actions to be performed. So he can communicate, he can send out a notification to the um, end user through this notification module. Okay, right now, like let's say we want to create a notification which should be communicated to any end user irrespective of wherever they are operating the application from. Okay, and let's decide a timeline, say this application, okay, this notification, sorry, should be displayed from 1st Feb to 28th Feb. Okay, so here you can write the message itself. Okay, saying that let's say application will be shut down for maintenance, so don't do this or that, whatever it is, just type in your message and where you want to display this message. Let's say we want to display this message on the home page, so click on the home button. Okay, now you can see the yellow box over there. So this is a notification, so any end user who will now log in will be able to see this notification from for that specific timeline. Okay, as I said, anyone can log into this application from anywhere. Okay, so you can also have an option to change the specific time zone for that particular user. So again, let's revisit the tabs. Okay, so this application almost covers an entire thing, like a subset of data management services. Okay, or I believe it can be enhanced further. Okay, so you can also submit profiling on a timely basis also. I believe this application can also be okay, just let log out. Okay, thank you for being with me, and